Hello, my name is Dr. Scott Zimmer, instructor of saxophone at Grand Canyon University, and I wanted to share a few performances and some thoughts about the regional and all-state etudes this year. For each one of these etudes, it's important that you understand all of the Italian markings that are in each one of these. I'll be happy to share with some of those too, but it's also important that you consult your other instructors about their thoughts on these as well too. I'm going to start with etude number 1 here too. Pesante, which means in a heavy manner. For this etude, it's pretty straightforward, as long as you note the various articulations, accents, and dynamics in this etude. Dotted rhythms and syncopated rhythms should leave a bit of space between the notes. For etude number 2, Andante con moto, which means a walking tempo with movement, consider thinking about this etude in 4 parts, divided by the marked breaths in the music. So the first part, a few notes here too, just make sure that you try not to use your tongue on the first note. Whenever I have a beginning of a note that starts at a really soft dynamic, I try to use as little tongue as possible, but also have a lot of air support there too. After the first breath mark in the second part, it's a gradual quickening of the pace. I almost take kind of an improvisatory approach to this. And also, when you get to those E flats at the beginning of the second line, make sure those octaves are in tune. The next part, which is an A tempo, back to the original tempo, and very expressive. The più dolce means more sweetly as you decrescendo. A lot of times when I see a dolce passage, I like to include a bit of a warm vibrato. Also, consider holding down the low D flat key in this measure to smooth out this passage. The last little 2 bars there, I kind of think of it sort of almost like an afterthought or sort of a coda. And it becomes calmer, it becomes quieter. Consider using the F palm key with the fingers of your right hand down for the E flat, along with the side B flat key for the B flat and C grace notes. The final crescendo, strive for an ad niente or to nothing decrescendo effect. For etude number 3, vivace, fast and lively, energico, with energy or in a vigorous or energetic manner. This etude should be played in 1 breath, maybe 2 at this tempo. If you need a second breath, you can sneak one in at the 9/8 leggero measure, which by the way means in a light, swift, and delicate manner. Keep your tongue light here too. At the leggero, strive to make a contrast from the beginning of this etude. Strive for more of a flute-like tone in the high register at the piano dynamic, while you really exaggerate the articulations, the tongues, the slurs, the accents, really bring those out. For etude number 4, jocoso in a happy or merry manner. Which means that you should be having fun with this one, even though it really moves at a nice pace, though. I find it really helps to recognize certain scales as they show up in this piece here, too. For instance, measures 3 and 4 shift from a D major scale right away to an E flat major scale, which can be a little bit of a finger buster, but if you see that coming ahead of time, you can prepare yourself accordingly. Keep your fingers relaxed. Resist the urge to rush through these scalar passages. Also, note the whole tone scale 3 measures from the end. If you like to use bis B flat, there are a lot of good places to use that, but this whole tone scale is not a good place to do that because it really prepares, because if you use the side B flat, then you're ready to go with the B natural at the downbeat of the second last measure. To me, this whole jocoso etude translates to playing this light and rhythmic and perhaps maybe a bit percussive. The rapidly shifting dynamics need to be played to their maximum effect to enhance the whimsical qualities of this etude. For etude number 5, it's a classic adagio, which means slow, pretty much right on the dot at quarter note equals 60. Doloroso in a sorrowful, mournful, or plaintive manner. And here is the first time you actually see that ad niente actually marked in the piece in the very last measure, which play with a soft sound or tone and gradually fade to nothing. Performing a soft, controlled legato articulation in the lower register of the saxophone can be very difficult. The low D flat at the beginning of this etude needs to be performed softly and under control. Using minimal tongue, sometimes it actually helps to pop either your F key or your B key when you actually start those notes. You can also help the smoothness and control in the low register by holding down the low C sharp key at the beginning of the last beat of the last measure of the second system. And it's always good to remember that these keys, the low C sharp key, the low B key, and the low B flat key, can all function as G sharp keys. So if you can work those in according to the passage, you might find that it makes some of those passages a little bit easier for you. Be sure to give the note values in the molto rallentando measures their full relative value. This means as the tempo slows, the actual duration of the notes is longer. The challenge is making these staccato 16th notes sound separated from the following notes without sounding too clipped. And when you get to the ad niente at the end, I always play that with no vibrato, a straight tone right there. I hope these performances and these comments were helpful to you. Feel free to email me if you have any questions about any of these. Thank you very much.